Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to Hallyujuku. I'm Petey Rave, your man with no plan, here with you on this journey of East Asian pop culture discussion and fun times. Here with me, as always, my tag team partner, my right-hand man to my left-hand side. We got Brandon Cooper, aka King Kaz. How you doing, Kaz?
Dying.
I know how you feel. The holidays are upon us, retail employees, and it's just we want it all to be over. Ah, humbug. We're here to talk about what's new, what's happening. There's a lot of craziness. The holidays are crazy. I will say, before we get started, one cool thing that I wanted to bring up that I did, it's tangentially related because in Asian culture, their esports is big. I played tournament organizer to our work Smash tournament, which is really cool. It was really fun. It was a fun thing for me to just kind of manage the whole, be the person yelling at people to just hurry up and get your controllers ready. Why are you taking 15 minutes to pick out your button layout? It's fucking Smash. Nobody cares.
Except for the fact that people do.
Yeah.
People care too much about Smash.
But no, it was fun time. I enjoy our time with Smash at work. And it's a fun game. And everybody plays it at work. And it was a fun time, kind of like I being the booker. I'm not that good at playing games, and I definitely will never play games competitively. But I like the idea of being the booker man, being the one that organizes things and kind of MCs things as well. It's kind of why I'm doing podcasts. I guess it's part of that whole deal. It was a fun time. Have you played any Smash, or do you know?
No. I'm still on my refusal to give Nintendo money, except for I just refuse to give Nintendo money.
Yeah. But that's that. It was a fun time. But either way, Kaz, what's new with you? What's going on? What's caught your attention since we last gathered?
I feel like we're a little bit on the switch because something caught my attention that I thought would catch yours, which is the Twice Yes or Yes.
I think I forgot about it and then realized it happened so long ago. Then it just kind of I think I assumed we talked about it already, and then it just didn't.
Yeah. Because
yes,
it's actually so. Let's kind of go through something real quick, right? Normally, I'm not super big on most of the girl group stuff generally, because for me, a lot of the times, a lot of it just comes off sounding the same. Boy group stuff does too sometimes. So it takes a lot to hit me. And here with Yes, the vocals are kind of boring, but the beat and the percussion and everything else is super. And it pulls you in a really good way. And I kind of like, I like the progression of the song enough that it pulls me in, that even though I think vocally it's kind of boring, I still like it. Because it's vocally it's generic, but I think it hits these really fun marks musically in a K-pop song that pull me in. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I think it works. It's fun. Yeah, I think Twice have, they have the sound that they need to do. They don't need to do. Yeah. They don't have to do much vocally. Their job is not to be Ailey or like ballad singers. They're here to do fun, catchy pop music, and there's what you have to do. But what the song does, they are of a stature that they could, everybody involved could get lazy if they wanted to. but at least they're bringing something interesting and fun and catchy. The song is catchy. The instrumental is cool. The video is fun. The choreography is just looks like, if anything, if nothing else, a lot more work than you would expect them to be willing to do at this point in their careers. It's actually, it's actually really cool and like interesting choreography, and looks like they actually kind of put a lot into their, into the work of it, which is really cool. Yeah, and it's fun. I think it's a really cool song. I think aside from not understanding how consent works.
Like sometimes you can't give people a choice.
Okay. I guess yeah. With Twice, you kind of a lot of people with Twice, there is no choice. They're just.
Trust me, we both work in retail, and you know that moment where you're like, so you need to sign up for this to buy this thing. Oh, but I don't want to. You need to sign up for it to buy it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, good old Twice.
Yeah, Twice. All right. Moving on. I got some shit from AOMG, the boys.
forgot to meet it.
AOMG in the house. But this one is Hoodie with J Park featuring Crush. And it is called Sunshine. It's a fun video, and I just like the song. I swear to God, AOMG just is so good for me. Like they do some shit. Just always give me a cha-cha beat.
Yeah. This is really good. I think this is a nice video. This is like they call it the dance visual, so it's kind of like a short version of the song, with a kind of a cool like little video with some of the dancers, doing a kind of cool choreography on a rooftop cafe, including Park Jae-bum himself. So you don't get the Crush part quite in this part, but you do get a little bit of the J Park part, and mostly Hoodie. But the fun part is the choreography, and the fun kind of like the fun of the dancing and the visuals of kind of like seeing the city in the background and stuff like that. And it's fun. It's a fun video.
Yeah. All right. So the last one I got is the Flavor Blue 365 with J Park and Cha Cha Malone, which is kind of it. They have a very similar beat, these two songs.
Yeah.
But I think they're kind of played in different ways. But I don't know. I just love it. I love J Park. I love R&B J Park, and this is definitely R&B J Park. So
this
always
nice,
love me some.
There's a nice little Seattle collab, I guess, because I imagine from the Mariners hat they must be like Seattle people. But it's a cool song. It's R&B J Park, and I love me some R&B J Park. And I think this is precisely kind of the J Park that I'm always into. It has a cool vibe to it. The video is fun. The female singer does a great job on this track. J Park is fantastic. Like the dudes do their job as well. I think overall it's just a nice little like soundscape and a nice little like style, and it's just good baby making music. It's good quality making music.
Like the kids at AOMG just like is, I don't know what it is. It's just like there's just this weird good melding of music that J Park has put together, and like it I think there's a moment where we said we want J Park to kind of be that crossover artist, like, and I don't think we ever thought he would be that for some reason, even though that's what we wanted. but I think we're getting to this point where it is becoming Jay Park is gonna be that guy that makes the blend, and I'm so glad it's gonna be Jay Park. Because just putting a team together that he has put together at AOMG just makes me believe in him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's always we the hope, but then you like it seems like a far off possibility. And not because of lack of talent, but because it just doesn't seem like the opportunities are there. Like the obviously, you know, everything about the history of Asian representation in media in America and things like that, and we can go all throughout that, but we're not the right people to do that. But even like just based off stuff like that, it didn't feel like it was highly probable. I mean, obviously it was possible, but anything is possible, but it didn't feel highly probable. But I mean, we knew. I mean, we know that Jay Park has the talent, and I've been calling for it. Like I said, I've been calling him for to come and specifically to replace Chris Brown. I don't know if he necessarily is replacing Chris Brown. It's hard to gauge that. We'll have to see. But at the very least, he's gaining ground and just establishing his own career.
Yeah.
You know. There is the fact that apparently there are rumors that Chris Brown is going to collaborate with a K-pop artist, and there's a Reddit thread about it. And the entire Reddit thread is all comments of people going, sitting here playing. It's not my favorite. My fave. Oh, please don't let it be. You know, please don't let me my fave. Please don't let it be my fave. Even though we all know it's going to be Jackson. Like. I don't know, it's gonna be Jackson or Lay. This is a possibility. It's Lay, but yeah, it's a hilarious thing. But the important thing is Jay Park is fantastic. Yeah. That being said, I've got some stuff. What's caught my attention lately? Actually, something interesting. So I usually kind of take the opportunity to bring up shows that have caught my attention. So. There's a new variety show that just started up a few weeks ago. It looks like it's like a little bit of like a short-term pilot season. I think there's only a couple episodes left as I guess they do 6 episodes as a pilot for it, and they're gonna see how it goes maybe. But it's a kind of like an interesting. The name of the show is called Village Survival: The 8. Or the Ocho, as you were. It stars UJ Suck, our boy, the man, the legend. Yeah. What
are they gonna do? What are they gonna do when he like retires?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Korea will be at a loss for hope. We'll have to see. It also has Jenny of Blackpink, Sundam. Yeah, Jenny
their careers are over. Blackpink's in a variety show. Fucking, that is the bell tolling right there. Fucking sell your Blackpink stuff now, ladies and gentlemen, because they're done.
Yeah. So and they also have Sundam, legendary artist, singer, and a couple of actors, Song Kang. Kang Ki-young, who you've seen if you've seen a few Korean dramas, Kim Sang-ho, who's pretty fantastic, Yang Se-hyung, if you've been watching Running Man lately, you'll know his brother Yang Se-chan, which is funny because like DJ Suck working with two brothers in the entertainment industry, one on one show, one on the other. But yeah, so this is an interesting show. And I'll tell you the premise. Not many of you have heard this one before. A group of celebrities venture out into a country. They venture out into a countryside village.
Stop.
Spend an overnight vacation, stay there. Yeah, and and they try to find $10,000 hidden somewhere in the So basically,
you're literally explaining every other UJ Suck show.
Yeah. So they basically revived Family Outing. And called and have added some kind of. Like,
it is not Family Outing unless fucking D-Light is on there.
Yes. That's the problem. Unfortunately, Jenny is the one providing the YG representation here today. On this show. Even though she's actually pretty fantastic on the show. But basically what they added was the.
Hold on, can we have a quick moment? How is it that Sung became like the default person to be like the TV person, and not?
I think he's the only one left. He's the only one that's not in the military at this point. Yeah. I think actually. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing Jae-sung's.
My brain just broke. But
it's just like, he's just what's left. This is how he's getting so many TV gigs. They finally were like, well, we can't get. Oh, wait, no. Can we get? Oh, no, he's in the military. Oh, we can't get. Oh, he's in the. We can't. Oh, well, Sungri's around. It's like, all right, I guess. He's pretty funny, you know. This is how it works out, man. Eventually, he'll be gone to the military too. You're gonna have to cope with that.
Yeah. All right. Fuck.
But yeah. So yeah, they added a kind of like a mystery clue finding game to it all, where they try to find like $10,000, or 10 million. Let me do the math. 10 million won, or it's like 10 million won, or 10,000 won if you Chunman. And it's basically a lot of the same things. They go to the place. It's one place. It's called they call it Michuri. I think it's like an acronym for it, but it's the one place. I don't think it's actually called that, but and they in the midst of they play games. To get clues, they make their own lunch and cook dinner, out in the open area where they shoot. It's kind of like Family Outing. They do the morning mission, of like answering quizzes. The only difference is the UJ Suck is this. This is the weird thing about the show. UJ Suck. So it's 8 people. It's 8 people besides UJ Suck, or I think 8 people including UJ Suck. But UJ Suck isn't involved in the actual game part. He's literally just there as an MC, or as the village chief. So he literally just like is there to do the quizzes, read the things, and then they go do all the clue finding, all this stuff, and like. That's
because everyone else has to go do that shit. He shows up, records that, leaves, go records 3 other shows, comes back, and is like, all right, did they find anything yet? No? All right, I gotta go record 2 more shows.
Yeah. He sleeps in a tent while everyone sleeps in the bedrooms. He sleeps in a tent in the living room, so he can wake up early before anybody
sleeps in a tent in the living room. Yeah, okay. Yeah. He is off doing VO for another show.
Yeah. And they do the morning quiz and everything with waking them up at at an ungodly hour at dawn, to do the classic they just woke up face. It's all the family, but I think overall it's fun. It's a fun experience. It's kind of like the people that are on it do well. Chang Do-yeon, that's the other person that's not listed in the credits. The model actor. So it is 8 people besides UJ Suck. They do a pretty good job of riffing on each other. They do a pretty good job of playing the games. It's pretty fun. It's not. It's not. It's a fun like Friday night show to watch and kind of chill out to, and I think it's. Yeah. I'm hoping that it does get picked up and do more episodes. So
I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's only
not to.
Yeah, it's only going to be 6 episodes at this point, unless it gets picked up later on. So It's good little like watch. Check it out. See if you like it. All right, moving on to the songs. Speaking of girl groups, that oddly enough, and even more oddly, kind of like pointing out why I didn't end up putting in twice, because I certainly liked that song a lot better than this song. But Red Velvet came back with their new song RBB, aka Really Bad Boy. The sequel to, I guess, Bad Boy, and maybe the prequel to Really Really Bad Boy, presumably. I don't know. This song is okay. I felt like I had to at least talk about this song, but the song is okay to good. It kind of goes all over the place, but I don't know if it necessarily finds a place to live at any point. But I don't know, there are parts of it that are interesting. There are parts of it kind of like they try things. The hook is a little hit or miss. But it's fine.
I think it starts off strong, falls off, and then kind of comes back, but not enough. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like it kind of like loses its way a little bit, and then like tries to find its way back, and it just kind of like it is a little bit all over, like I said, all over the place, but just nowhere. It's all over the place, but nowhere in particular. Like it's like, and I think it's fine. It's not the worst. It's not the worst Revo song, but it's not. It's
No.
definitely not the best song they released this year. Even
I think it's just kind of it's kind of basic. Like we've heard a lot of songs that have this progression this year, with that kind of ba da 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 da, you know, like kind of thing. So I think it's just kind of been a song that everybody has done in that progression kind of thing. And I don't think they're necessarily weak in this, but I think, like you said, it just kind of has this moment where it's all over the place, but it has that very jazzy horn thing. And I love Red Velvet's vocals. Like they have really good harmonization, and I love how they do shit. But that could just be me being a Red Velvet mark. So I don't know.
And I'm a Red Velvet mark too myself, you know. And I think I like a lot of what they do, and I like how they perform. And if given the right song, obviously they can knock it out of the park. But I think that they could have been given better. I think this one there's doesn't quite get there, but it's fine. It's fine. It works for them. Also, they all look great, so that's, I guess, all that matters really. Moving forward to the next song. It's your boy Song Min Ho of Winner, with the song Anak Ne, aka Fiance. And I like it. I like it. It's interesting. I think there's something cool happening here in this song. I like his voice in many ways. I like the I like the kind of the visuals of the video too. Not to skip past the song, but the visuals of the video are really cool. The mood of the song of the video is really interesting. There's interesting things happening in the instrumentation. And I think overall it's cool. I think it is a little bit of him channeling his channeling more of his inner G Dragon in a way.
Yeah,
not quite all the way. But I think that's just because he lives in a different time. So this is like he's G Dragon filtered through 2018 rather than G Dragon filtered through 2011, 2012. Or
see, but at the same time, right? You say that.
Yeah, he brings enough of his own thing.
I feel like G Dragon still would have went that way. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't have been like I don't think anyone else goes Heartbreaker and then comes back and does the other shit that G Dragon does, except for someone like G Dragon.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
Like none of these other Zico kind of dips into this like kind of R&B really soft shit sometimes, and then goes back into like the kind of hardcore rapper stuff. Like Mino kind of dips into these very still kind of rap but very poppy rap things, and then dips back into that kind of hard rap shit. Like only fucking G Dragon could go full fucking like visual K, and then like even I was like, yo, that shit is weird, bro. But everybody else was like, no, this is fucking amazing, and I'm like, what? Like, did I miss something? Is this shit not weird? And they're like, nope, on point, fucking. But that's some shit only G Dragon could have gotten away with, because this motherfucker is like a god.
Yeah. But yeah, but Mino does some really cool things in with this, and I think overall it's just a really solid track. And well, what did you think of this track?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like, it's very surprising to me, right? Like I've like I said, I've seen Mino experiment, but I never thought I still don't think he's as experimental as G Dragon or Zico is, right? Like I think Zico also has this very experimental with his music kind of thing, where he dips into these very different genres with stuff. I think everything from Mino is always gonna baseline be about rap. Outside of winter stuff, right? Like, because I feel like any kind of person who permeates from being in an idol group, but has a kind of a solo career, I never count their idol stuff, right? I'm only looking at them as individuals, and they're the most comparative that I can think of. But everything for Zico, I mean, everything for Mino is going to come to a baseline about being about rap, right? Yeah. This still has a baseline of being about rap, but it's very experimental. It's very out there for the other stuff that you would hear from Mino. And I think it's good. I think he does really good. I love the production. I love the percussion of this. I love how he plays with the beat in this. And I just kind of love the visualization of it. I think it's interesting. It still has his kind of swagger and braggadociousness to it, because that's Mino. And I would really love to see Mino do some really out there fucking shit though.
Yeah. I guess it's just a matter of like, okay, he's still young in his career, relatively speaking, so especially as a solo artist, so he might, as he grows his wings, he might try a little bit more.
Yeah,
you never know. So it'll be cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on. I wanted to give a little shout out to an artist having an interesting 2018. That I want a song that I'm featuring, a song that came out in like April. Mainly just because I wanted to shout out this before I forget to do it ever.
Yeah.
Because it just like is a thing that caught my attention, and it just never was like it was too busy of like, air times, or there was too much to talk about in any particular episode, and after a certain point I just kind of forgot, and it kind of went by the wayside. But and I've talked about, say, formerly of Evil before, Evil being kind of a group that was like in the vein of your 21s and your like,
yeah,
like cool, like swaggish girl groups of that era of, the 2013s, 2014 era, girl groups that had that interesting sound, but just never got to like have a momentum.
The girl groups that were trying to copy fucking Big Bang.
Yeah.
Because Big Bang took over the world at that time.
And they were cool and they were fun and it was fun to listen to them. But it's just kind of a shame that they never kind of blew up. But say, they then
still sad about GI.
Yeah, still pissed about that. Still salty. Fuck Sim Tung. uh Say has been quietly, or I don't know about quietly, but kind of low key building something. She at some point signed to Universal, like,
Yeah.
and has been and she released an album this year that was really cool. Just a straight R&B like jams. And she's been kind of building a repertoire. She's been playing like shows here and there, and like establishing her career and doing some cool things and putting out. And she's put out like a mixtape afterwards. Uh,
Hmm.
and like for example, this song Encore is just a really cool song. It starts off with a little bit of her song Overzone, which is cool in and of itself, and then it kind of breaks into Encore, which is a tight song. And I don't know, the song is cool, her voice is cool, the video is cool, and like her dancing is really cool, and like and has just a cool attitude to it. And like uh I've seen her, and like she did one of these like I think a show called I'm Live, where she kind of did like a little live performance for like, I guess it's like TV show where they do set up a show, uh, and set up a live performance by these artists, and she was fantastic on that. She certainly
Yeah.
had a fan base there, and she's kind of, I guess, kind of accruing her her following. And I don't know, it's kind of cool to see a an art, seeing this, especially like in, I think, a year and a time of like different artists breaking out or establishing their own paths or establishing careers beyond what beyond what maybe where people might think that they've failed, like taking a
Yeah.
perceived failure or just an actual failure, and because failure is the first path to success, like, and actually following that motto and taking that failure and following that path and following it into a kind of a growing success, which is really cool. uh
Yeah. I mean, but we've talked about the thing of like people who have these really strong personalities that are in these like cookie cutter groups that just aren't allowed to stand out, right? Like you have these characters in these people that you're like, oh my god, market that character, market that person, market those personalities that you have in this group. But we got stuck in a like you said, even in that era that you talked about these groups being in. We talked about how you always had to do this very basic bitch ramp up of how you promote a group and stuff like that, right? And everything had to be very like by the K-pop standard, and you would miss out on the things that would make these groups stand out, like their personalities and their uniqueness outside of their ability to maybe do choreo and dance and sing and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I think now we're in a little bit of a better place where you're allowed to show a little bit of the personality of these characters that you have. I think Monster X as a boy group is one of the best to kind of have that. You got, because of the way it was designed, more of the personality of these characters going into this group. So the fact that they can hit the K-pop standards of singing, dancing, doing all this other shit, it makes it better. And I think it's
yeah
just something is being learned more and more. Like, look at BTS. BTS was doing the K-pop standard at the time when they came out, right? And for us, it was like, nah, fuck it. It's garbage. Recycle it. You know what I mean? But because it stayed the course, because it lived through its permutations, and then you got to a point where you're like, yo, Hope's kind of cool. Yo, Rap Monster's actually an interesting character. Um, and then you get to the point where it's creative and interesting, and the sound is good, and the sound is modern, and it's not just this bullshit K-pop shit. Like,
yeah
and it was the same thing for me, like you said, with all these people who were trying to copy the standard of what 2NE1 was and what Big Bang was, but they just didn't do it right. Because it was one of the things we used to praise YG for, was giving us these groups with personality and people that you could care about, people that you like. So it's just the flow of that failure, like you said, and in living in the business and doing things in the business that you're supposed to do, but just doesn't
quite work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, but yeah, I think it's a really cool kind of, and I think it's really cool, and this in particular is a nice example of that.
Yeah.
So Say is pretty fantastic. So I imagine I'm definitely going to be mentioning her. If I do anything as far as like recapping 2018, maybe in a blog post or something. But definitely check out the album Classic with 2 A's, kind of like her name, CLAASIC, double SIC. Go check it out. It's a cool album. Yeah. Beyond that, that's it for what's new. Let's get over to our headlines, ladies and gentlemen. Join us over there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our headlines segment. We'll talk about some topical topics in the world of East Asian pop culture, things that are going on in that world, in that space. Let's get down to it. Let's start with the first story. I'm gonna start mentioning this one. Like a lot of the articles today, is gonna be from an Asian Junkie article. So go check out the notes if you want to see links to all the articles. Pristin's fandom now protesting outside Pleiades Entertainment's building. So Pristin kind of has been nowhere to be found for all intents and purposes. So the saga of Pristin's activity continued today, literally on the building of Pleiades Entertainment, as fans of the girl group took their protest directly to the source. As you can see, posting notes and signs directly onto the building's face. Considering how the new the group is and how long their layoff has been, Pristin fans haven't asked for much from Pleiades, mainly just wondering where the fuck they are. The fact that Pleiades still won't address it is all likely isn't a promising sign, but maybe this protest will at least get them to update or something. Of course, in the comment section, they go ahead and post a gif of that dude throwing eggs at after school companies building, because that's classic. So as it's an interesting issue and an interesting thing that is happening. Again, we're talking about another fandom kind of taking their umbrage directly to the company when it comes to the group.
Yeah,
because it's understandable.
If nothing else, right? If nothing else, one of the things I've always said on this show is, especially when it comes to the netizens, right? It's great to talk about that shit, right? And we've talked so many times in certain articles about netizens on their fan boards and all this other shit, saying how much they want the company to do something for this group that they love, right? And I've always said your actions mean more than anything, right? Sitting at your computer and complaining to each other in your circle of sadness doesn't mean anything. This is an action that means something, because one, it's not hard disruptive, right? Hopefully, it seems like it is not hard disruptive. I love non-hard disruptive things. You're not breaking shit. You're not full on causing a disturbance. You are taking your disturbance, I think, to the best possible place. You're putting it right in their face, and you're saying, hey, this is you have this product that we love and that we want. and you are the gatekeepers of this product, and we're willing to give for this thing.
Yeah.
And we love this thing and we want this thing. And I even fucking love I love the action of this, because like even in the tweets are non-disturbance of this, right? Because you have one of the fans who's just like, we saw your people take pictures of this thing. We know you saw it. And when you ordered your food, we know you told those motherfuckers to go to the back door. So you know we out there.
Yeah. We out here. We out in the streets.
Yeah. We out in the streets.
We out in the streets. Yeah, there's quite a little bit of issues, especially with Pristin, because I think I've seen people talk about it. Obviously, we're not as aware of how active some groups are outside of major music releases and major TV appearances, but because we're not there, we're not in Korea, as much as we want to be, or at least as much as I want to be. But at least with groups that aren't necessarily always promoting releases and music releases, they at least work like the festival circuit, or like go do like shows and do specifically the festival circuits, college festivals and rural like festivals for their freaking the kimchi making festival over in the Gyeongju. I don't know if there is a Gyeongju kimchi making festival, but it's, something like that. The peanut festival out there in one of the provinces. They're at least out there getting gigs that way. But apparently Pristin just are nowhere to be found, not getting any gigs, and they're not necessarily no names like EXID were before We Ade. Like they're not exactly like they're not to that level. They actually have at least one name that's recognizable, and a couple, so they could at least get paying gigs. Like, so they're like their silence is almost is deafening to the fandom. So it's very interesting, and the main thing is very interesting to see, like we said, them putting action to words, which is interesting. I think as long as they're doing it the right way, like you said, not full on hard disruptive, not making, not damaging property, not throwing eggs. like the classic throwing eggs incident. I think we'll have to see how much this affects things. But Pledis has to do something with this group. Like, they have to do something. Like, they invested the money into this group. They have to do something. They have momentum. At least Pristin V had a little bit of momentum, I think. It's hard to gauge things and hard to gauge their viability, but at least they have to give an explanation. But they should give an explanation. We know we've lived our history with K-pop and K-pop companies bothering to announce or explain things, so we know not to get our hopes up. But say something. Say something. Sheesh. All the best to Pristin fandom, but we must move on. Speaking of rocking relationships with companies, so Coco is in hot water. So Coco of CocoSori, or I don't know, maybe formerly of CocoSori. We don't know. Again, no one ever announces things. She recently was kind of like airing some grievances not too long ago. A bit ago, I didn't really talk about it because it was just it's a minor thing. But she did kind of air some grievances over Sori and her kind of like promotions and her comeback and how their relative investment involved from the company. with Coco's comeback and Sodi's comeback, and a little bit of like she's been putting stuff out there, talking about, she kind of has been voicing feelings of favoritism and things like that. Well, the company has answered back. So Coco's former company to take legal action over her comments directed them at them and Sori. CocoSori member, or former, I assume, and this is, of course, Agent Junkie article. Current streamer Coco has previously talked about the alleged shitty treatment she received from MOL Entertainment, and also aired her grievances with former group member Sori. All this has taken place mainly for the entertainment of her English-speaking audience, and perhaps that was because Coco wanted to avoid what's happening now, as the company has released a statement. The company says now, the company position on Coco's conduct. This is MOL Entertainment, CocoSori's management company. During the past few months, Coco has posted several statements about her company as well as about Sori on social media, which do not reflect the truth. In these statements, which she has expressed through live stream video and also through several written comments posted on her social media account, Coco has tried to pass her own problems as if they were the problems of the company and Sori. With regards to these statements, we ask CocoSori fans not to worry. In addition, in order to release Coco's second single, we started a Kickstarter crowdfunding project in which Coco got backing from her fans. After releasing her single, the fans who backed her were supposed to get some rewards for participating in a crowdfunding project, but there's still one reward pledge which Coco was supposed to fulfill personally, which to this day she still has not done. I will say, editorializing here, I don't exactly know which one they're talking about. I'd have to go back and check. I don't know if I got everything I was supposed to get. Well, I'll disclose that in a moment. Last week, media articles portrayed Coco as a victim, which brought more misunderstandings. Furthermore, there were some fans who just accepted Coco's claims, which gave rise to a serious situation because they began sending unpleasant and aggressive messages to Sori's personal social media accounts. Since our silence has been perceived as the company being at fault, we have no choice but disclose our position publicly. We are currently preparing a legal response towards Coco. As a matter of principle, we believe that the parties involved should work to resolve the issue. We ask you to understand that it can be dangerous to listen to and to believe in only one side of a story without having all the information. We are very sorry that these problems have occurred, and we deeply apologize to those who have supported CocoSori. Well, at least we sort of have the other, as it goes here, at least we sort of have the other side of the story. And MOL generally denies the Coco side. They don't explain much of anything, as you heard. The big thing is obviously that Sodi's kind of been like caught up as collateral damage in all of this, considering she's not at fault. Even if you listen to just Coco's side of the story, it's not like she put together some devious plot to screw her over her former coworker. All she did was she committed the heinous crime of being more marketable and having better prospects as a solo artist. Whoa. So of course she's kind of catching a lot of unnecessary flack. I will say, full disclosure right away, I did back the single myself. Before we did discuss anything, and I am subbed to her on Twitch. I am subbed to Coco on Twitch. Just to throw that out there, just so that there's nothing like, surreptitious, but before we get into the discussion. But what I did have a couple thoughts, but what were your impressions on all this and what could come from this situation?
It's hard, right? Because it's one of those things where it could really, really come down to like legality. Holy shit! It's gonna be hard because there's a lot of words I just thought of that I can't pronounce. The legality of the situation is going to be depicted, at least legally, on any kind of contracts or things like that she had, and then they're going forward. If once again, it's going to be a really weird situation because neither of us understand law,
Mm.
and then when you extend that into Korean law, like, I don't necessarily know how things like hearsay work in those situations, right? Because that's what this is, right? That's
Yeah.
it's. Is that hearsay? Fuck.
I don't know.
I wish I was. I really wish I was smarter.
I'm just a Cuban fat guy who listens to like Girls' Generation and Blackpink on Spotify. Like fucking.
Yeah, so,
Don't ask me.
Like it's really going to come down to if a court is going to take things that she said on it was on a Twitch stream, right? Because that's what the link here is, even though the link doesn't work anymore, because I'm presuming she took it down.
Yeah, there's a couple. If you look in the comments, especially the highlighted comment on the second article, there's another Twitch clip that somebody else has that I think still works. It worked today.
So it's gonna be a really rough kind of back and forth, and then they're gonna use it. It's gonna be rough because they'll use whatever they can get their hands on to then
anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Yeah. So when you then have these other situations, like you said, of crowdfunding things and not deliver, like they're gonna use everything if they want to be malicious. If it comes down to something like I said, it's really weird because I don't know all the legal terminology that I know it, but I'm not sure if it's right, so I don't want to say things and be wrong. But
yeah, and it's also too early to say who's right and who's telling the truth, who's not. There's a lot of there's been a lot of discussion of the fact that it was very calculated that she only ever said anything at all like this to the English speaking audience, kind of hoping people presume that nobody would find out.
It also, I don't know if you saw this is taking it to a sports odds and ends kind of thing, but the clip of the hockey players talking in an Uber, right?
I didn't see that.
So it's a situation where these professional hockey players are in an Uber, and the Uber driver is recording it because he was angry that 8 people called for one Uber. And not because they were professional hockey players, not because of who they were, who they played for, anything like that. He was mad because 8 people wanted to get into his car and it put him at a liability. And he made the mistake of releasing the video. In said video, the hockey players are airing their grievances about their team and about their coaching staff. But it's very co-workers talking shit about their boss, right? It's not malicious necessarily. It's not like, oh, that guy needs to be fired. It's just very it's not like they're having a laugh, right? To use a British term that I fucking randomly pulled out of my ass. And in a sense, you can almost maybe see her doing that in a sense with an American audience, right? Like you
especially
we've talked about,
especially with she is kind of like a mostly an IRL streamer, and a lot of that personality of a lot of the IRL streamers is more of like having a friendly repertoire
Mm-hmm.
relationship with your audience, and like and there's a lot of loaded comments on about all that, but there's a little bit of a kind of like more back and forth friendly, or even just as a streamer, like it's just is the more friendly, more familiar feeling relationship with your audience, and you kind of just talk shit with your audience and things like that. So that could definitely be on that, but it's also it could also be very calculated, like kind of like using these little things to kind of like drum up fandom, again, using these little like dog whistle things to like ramp up the fervor of your fandom, like in your particular little fandom. So it could be either of those things, um and yeah, it's a little bit of a unknown commodity. It's very, very hard to speculate, but yeah, and there's very, you kind of like you wonder, does you wonder like, is it smart to do this? Is it smart to do this even if you're doing this in this very calculated way? Is it smart to do this, or is it smarter to keep it in the locker room, as it were, using another sports term, or keep it in the dorm room, I guess, if you want to call it that way. And yeah, like it, and what, and we go back to the contracts, but we don't know exactly the legal ramifications, because we kind of figure, as a fandom, we kind of figure and guess that most, if not all, K-pop artists, idols, sign a non-disclosure agreement of some sort, like, and I imagine a non-disparage, an agreement not to disparage the company in some way or another, if it isn't a, or at the very least a non-disclosure. Just from like, especially inferring from interviews of ex idols, where they pointedly, like, even if they're never going to be in the idol industry ever again, will still say, I can't talk about that. Like, not even in a I still want to keep a career way, but it's very, but because they don't have a career they want to go back to, they still very much seem like they're pressured by something. So NDAs could be violated, things like, because she did say some very pointed things about them and how much money, because Sodi's part was crowdfunded. Sodi's comeback was crowdfunded, but she did very, very pointed comments, making claims of how much they put behind that project beyond the crowdfunding the company did, as opposed to her project, which she had to kind of do all her own and commission help from friends and things like that, which at the end of the day, it seems she could try to make it sound skeevy, but seems like a company making a decision on who to invest in and who they didn't necessarily need to, which sounds mean, but is reality. like I mean, for as much of a train wreck as Mix 9 was, Sodi has that, and coupled, has that drama, it has the Real Girls project, and has some momentum. It has a little bit of like possible potential, and they didn't quite see that same in Coco. Like, and bless her, she's a talented singer, but I'm just gonna say it, her voice and her skill set, it's kind of a dime a dozen. Like, this is a nice, cute song, but it was nothing special. I mean, we talked about it. It was a cute song, and I don't know if we even talked about it, or even, I have to look back, but it was a good song. Microdots on it, and that's nice, and it was arranged well. But like there's a lot of Korean singers that sound like Coco, whereas they saw a little bit of a marketing potential in Sodi. So there's that. I mean, I don't know. But what else is there to say? 'Cause-
Uh, uh, there's not really much else I could say.
yeah,
At least not on that situation.
Yeah, there's not much. There's not much else to say other than it's interesting. We'll have to see how it shakes out legally, but hopefully all the best to Coco because I think this aside and kind of like the personality traits of like of that would take to kind of like maybe this aside and what you want to think about what she's doing aside and the personality the friends she keeps aside because everybody's kind of had out there in the Korean community Korean K-pop fandom has had with like her friend Edward Avila and some and other things like that. I think she's a good kid and she's talented and I think her getting into what she likes and streaming and things like that is really cool. And I still want to support that. And I think I want her to do well. So hopefully this isn't too much of a tumultuous ride for her, but we'll have to see. But moving on, speaking of having issues with people, Sunny may or may not be canceled. So Sunny put out a song a little while back called Feminists. It was bad. And it was dumb. And it was it was far from feminist. If I were to sum up the song, it was I thought I tweeted that I thought the alternative title should have been, "Look, I'm not sexist, but." He kind of makes a lot of claims about, well, why don't you pay for, why don't you pay your half of the bill and why don't you like let me say and like why don't women join the military and blah blah blah. It's like except that they do, but they do voluntarily. And
I think I kind of take the like one of the responses in one of these Asian Junkie articles where it was like you kind of would expect more from Sonny, but it definitely sounds like something that was written in the moment with no thought to it and then recorded the next moment. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like it was just like wrote it, called somebody in to come mix it, and like before that person could even ask a question, it was it was recorded, and then they're just like, I don't know what I just recorded, but I recorded something. Like
Yeah.
And then like they said, it just leaves it open to hole punch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's what happened. You got your fucking hole punched.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do the thing that you have been very touted at being, which is a very good writer. Sonny has been very touted at being a very good writer of songs. But this was just
it was just a matter of somebody actually doing it, but it was so easy to do.
Yeah, I don't know if like I don't know if this is just written in like I can't fathom the world where like Sonny, who has produced some of the best like Korean rap songs I have heard, and then that being the same person who wrote this. You know what I mean? Like it brings things into question.
Yeah.
Where like I don't know.
Yeah. Like, and then you had this answer by rapper Jerry K. And you can check out the lyrics. You can check out the video. I do like the best line is right at the end where he answers very simply the whole because Sonny makes a point of bringing out the whole military thing. Blah blah. Blah. It's like he points out right at the end, like, but bro, you didn't serve in the military. You skipped out on the military. So you sitting here talking about military shit and like which is kind of the killer blow. And then beyond that, this is just that song, and because a lot of things happen, things right in the other. He was part of the brand new music concert, and kind of made things worse. There was a faux apology. He tried to kind of play it off and say like, "Yo, I was playing a character. It was a social commentary about these kind of people, and I was playing the character of a sexist, and then nobody bought that for shit. And then he kind of made things an issue at the brand new music concert and said, and here's the quote from the Asian Degree article. On December 2nd, Sonny performed the brand new year 2018 concert. When Sonny came on stage near the end of the concert, the audience started to boo. Sonny started to ask the crowd, quote, "Everyone, do you all hate me?" And the audience replied, "Yes," very loudly. A pig doll with words criticizing Sonny was also thrown on the stage. It's wonderful. Sonny then went on to say, quote, "All the WOMAD and Megal, kind of like hardcore, militant, feminist groups," I put that in quotes, quote, feminist groups, who came, there's something I've been meaning to say. I don't give a fuck. WOMAD is poison. Feminists, no. You all are mentally sick. Jerry K., your WOMAD's dick boy. 6.9 centimeters. That's your dick, though, bitches. WOMAD and Magal, short for Magalia, refer to controversial, radical feminists, online communities in South Korea. Then he said, quote, "I don't think there's a need for me to respect you if you're not going to respect me," end quote. Later he continued, quote, "Everyone paid to be here, but you don't enter a restaurant to cause a riot. I wish you all can create a fan culture where you don't abuse your power. I don't care how much you all attack me. I support sane women. WOMAD and Magal are evils of society." Again, doing the classic thing of like over focusing on this minority in a movement, which and yeah, I get it. From everything I've heard, these groups are very not just militant, but they're very turfy, very transphobic, very kind of like cornerstone turf movements in Korea. But or I prefer the acronym I heard once which was FART, which is feminism appropriating radical transphobes. But people recognize turf a little bit more. And I get that, but it's that hyper focus on that, and like, of course, the big issue there is that a lot of the fans that were there were fans of the dude from 101 that is on brand new music, because Reimer, like the smart person he is, kind of put that guy up front, was able to sell tickets to the fandom, and they came with one-on-one light sticks and things like that, and they had that fun atmosphere. But he had to go and make things fun for the rest of us. And then it said, one of the best quotes on here was Sonny said, "You all old bitches, this is my last brand new music concert," and the girl in the crowd says, "I'm so happy." It's like, yo, you just made my day. First, Reimer had to come out with an apology for his nonsense. And yeah, it kind of goes on. He also released another track because, I mean, if you're gonna go down that path, you might as well just dig yourself a grave a little bit more. Might as well dig yourself a deeper grave. And then, of course, the last thing they announced. Well, they announced it because it was foretold, because I think that his contract was expiring anyways, but that he's no longer with the company. They decided not to renew him, and which is smart because they know where their future lies. Obviously, with artists from 101 and they're younger. boy groups and their younger rappers and things like that. I'd love to say that actually Sonny is, I don't know if I would love to say that, but I would love to say that this is going to be a big blow to Sonny's career and cause him to reevaluate himself. But who knows? Like he still has a following, and he still has a foothold in things. But this is kind of ridiculous and kind of a bummer. As for all the silliness, and the people will point out that his stupid hair choices and kind of how he's acted on shows. I've liked Sonny's music. And I've generally been okay with him. But really kind of like this on top of like reevaluating some of his like personality traits that he's shown throughout his career. It really kind of sucks to kind of be left with this sour taste in my mouth over like somebody's like over somebody who I've previously been a fan of. I don't know.
Yeah.
What were your reaction to all this?
No, like it's the same. This could be a career killer, or it is a career reevaluation, and it's one of those things that make you fade to the background. You know what I mean? And then all we hear from Sonny is Sonny the producer. But it definitely is going to be something that stalls, right? And it like, not to say that his career hasn't, been at kind of a stall already, but it's definitely that it's something that puts at a stall. So there's gonna be a reevaluation for him. It just depends on if it comes in the light of somebody bolstering him and somebody being like, hey, fucking keep doing your dumb shit because I can make money off of you. Or if it comes in the sense of somebody being like, I'm willing to give you a chance, but you can't do that dumb shit anymore.
And you'd hope that he'd sit back, look at himself, look at the situation, kind of reevaluate things, but I mean, that's not a given because I think he's got plenty of there's plenty of people and honestly plenty of like rappers that would be just along the same views as him. They're just not as prominent, and the fact that there really have not been any clapbacks other than this one underground rapper and his label mate, like, which that's another track of I forget Sleek. His label mate, she was pretty fantastic. She had a great track as an answer back to this. There's I don't know. It's gonna take a lot from me now to give Sonny another chance. So we'll have to see. But for as far as I'm concerned, Sonny is suspended. I don't want to say canceled, but suspended indefinitely. We'll have to see. We'll have to reevaluate. We'll have to apply for reinstatement. Well, we'll see. Let's conclude on a more positive note, and just a quick little thing, just a neat thing. BTS Love Yourself Tear receives 2019 Grammy Awards nomination for Best Recording Package. Of course, specifically, this is not.
What does that mean?
It means that the album got best physical thing, like best package. As in, basically, it's a art direction award. So basically, kind of like
okay.
They're basically praising the art direction and the design of the album and things like that. which
Here's
is
one of these things that I think is funny, right? We've talked about how the packaging, and I wish I had one in arm's reach, but they're way across on the other side of the room. The packaging of Korean albums, right? Like that shit. It's fucking PD is our hand model here. That shit is standard K-pop packaging, right? But because it is more of a wide release in America, that shit is new to people, right?
yeah.
But to me and you, this is standard bullshit.
I but like I like the idea of maybe I still think and we think about the fact that physical media, the kind of like like going away from physical media and things like that. The fact that at Best Buy, they no longer sell CDs at Best Buy, except for not holiday CDs, temporarily for a little bit. But, I think like it was the idea. This idea could be a really good idea for anybody with a solid fandom. Like, CDs. Nobody buys CDs to consume music, but you can make like a cool special edition package for your fans, like with a photo book and things as merch. I think reevaluating physical media not as content delivery, but as merch is something that K-pop has been like innovating
sell
on.
that shit and don't even put a fucking CD in there now, right? Like sell that same K-pop packaging that me and you and K-pop fans are used to. Put a download fucking link in there. And then
Like
just put more shit in
like
it.
GD, sell a bloody USB with no songs on it.
God. No, put fucking songs on it, because there ain't no songs on there. I'm gonna fucking fight you if I see you. If I catch you, I will.
USB.
Don't worry, I'll get past at least.
Hey.
I'll get past at least one bouncer. I'm gonna get at least one good swing in.
Yo, shout out to a really cool band called Deaf Girls. They came up with I actually bought a cassette tape from them. A really cool like little like bright yellow cassette tape, but in here they had the code to download it. To download the album. So now I have this really cool like merch thing, like this really cool cassette that I can keep around, but I just download the album and put it on my phone.
Things are and still forever will be cool. I just think we have to get outside of the idea that the media consumption of itself has to match it, right? So people don't want CDs, so now we move hard into digital.
Shoot.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't just because I don't want the CD doesn't mean I don't want something.
Oh. Yeah. Sorry, I got a cramp. Go on.
PD's down. So I'll keep vamping about like media packages, but like the whole like the hardcover books and like you said, the photo books. Like do some other cool shit. Like when it's a brand new group, do the photo book. Put like little blurbs next to each photo to sell me on this group even more. You know what I mean? Like put little fucking shit. If it's a group that's well known, like fucking make it interactive with your fucking phone. Like when you flip through the photos, right? Like maybe you can click on the photo and you can see more from that particular photo set, not just the best ones you picked. Maybe you get to see the 2 and 3 photo of that set. Like there's so much shit we could do that mixes a good meld of digital, physical, like just media consumption and like fan shit and stuff like that, and just makes it fucking cool. Like the blank pages on the sides next to most of the photos, because it's usually like a photo and blank page. Like I said, you could put some writing there. Do it so that there's maybe space that if you bring your physical copy to a fucking fan signing, like they can sign under their picture. Like that shit would be so dope for so many up and coming artists and all kind of other shit that adds more value to this merch that you buy. Like and then fucking just throw the CD in there if you want, like as a fucking haha. Like I I don't know, man. Like
Yeah.
I there's so many missed opportunities, especially
Yeah.
on the American side. Like I think the Japanese and Koreans and just Asian media companies,
Yeah.
even though most
Korean
of
in
them are
particular
also
for design, because I'm pretty sure Japan still does jewel cases, like, and for the most part,
yeah,
because
yeah,
they
for the most part, yeah.
they haven't admitted that people like to stream, so but yeah,
Um,
Korean. I've
yeah,
been saying this as a thing for like wrestling. Like I think that wrestling companies need to stop thinking of DVD and they're working on it. And the fact that the past couple of years have been working on it, they really need to stop keep thinking of DVDs. Like I'm literally saying that they've been focusing on DVDs, not even Blu-rays,
mhm,
as content delivery,
mhm.
as they're like, and then like polling fans. Like I think I'm looking at you, Shimmer, polling fans of like, which do you prefer, online, physical media, DVD? I'm like, fans are always gonna like merch. So you're talking to your fans. You're not talking about who you might be able to catch on on casual listen or casual watch. And B, they're gonna like physical media. Like those are your fans, but focus on streaming. Stop thinking that's your content delivery. Think of it as merch. Do something special if you're gonna um do that. I think it'd be cool if like wrestling companies had like not just a a plastic package with the DVD or Blu-ray. It should be Blu-ray, but have like a cool like package like those, even if it's something as plain as that, with a photo book of the event, like behind the scenes photos,
Yeah,
photos of the match,
like not like
you know.
yeah, like fucking like some of the best moments of the match. Like I know your photogs are catching that. Like, and it's just it like add value, add fucking value.
All right. All right, let's wrap this up so I can go get some potassium in my system.
Go drink some water.
Drink some water. I drank like a liter of water when I was sitting in here, but it didn't work. But let's wrap things up. That's wraps up another episode of Hallyujuku. Kaz, what's going on in your world? What are you up to?
Goddamn nothing at the moment because I've been so goddamn tired. We were just literally coming off travel. Then I went on another fucking travel thing. I haven't done an episode of fucking anything else other than this in like a year at this point. So hasn't been any new episodes of Sports Odds and Ends. I don't even know the name of the shows I do anymore, or fucking DKG Whelp. Hopefully at one point the stars will. Yeah, the stars will align and fucking I'll do other podcasts again, and then more things can come from them. But just keep your ears to the ground. I've also been working on one photo for the last 2 months, so
it's gonna be a great photo. I believe in you. I've been mostly doing the same thing. You can find him at KingCaz. I'm at PD Rave. The show's Hallyujuku, KKPopPodcast.com, Hallyujuku.com if you can remember to spell that. Rebellion.net for this shows. Right now, Record Breakers is on a bit of a little hiatus. Kind of some life events and things like that. But
well, didn't I tell you? Don't you know?
we'll keep you updated. We'll probably mostly just gonna take December off and then figure out some things going into New Year because everything's hectic. At least on that front. But keep an eye out on for Record Breakers, recordbreakerpodcast.com, Rebellion.net, Rebellion TV on YouTube. Subscribe.
Give it to me straight.
Subscribe, like, share, do all the things. Give us some reviews, give some feedback, tell us what you think of the albums or the articles,
Give it to me straight.
things that are going on in the world of these days of pop culture. Do all the things. Until next time.
Why, I think you're crazy.
Hasta los huevos. And you're fighting.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.